Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That was my best robot voice I gave y'all. But I know y'all miss this sweet, sultry, serene voice. But I couldn't help but start this episode with reading off that label. How many of y'all had the image creep in your mind of this big white label with black letters on it appear once I read that off? Yes, no, maybe so. Comment, like, subscribe, let me know. But for those of you that aren't unsure, I was just sitting here this morning, getting ready to record for y'all, getting ready to press that button, and I have all my, things set up on my desk to give y'all a good episode. I have my caffeine of choice, my kombucha to the left of me. And on the right, I have my drug of choice, which is my beautifully rolled and nicely tucked with some grabo, or for those of you out there that call it Fonto. So I'm looking at the Fonto pack, and it has that warning sign on it. And I laugh because I'm just like, how many times have I come across this and not think nothing of it? How many times does someone else have come across this and not think nothing of it? Just like the word addiction is blatantly there. Is this not serious to us? Or so I went back into the definition of addiction, and I wanted to read it off to y'all. Addiction is a chronic, relapsing brain disease that's characterized by compulsive drug or substance seeking and use, despite its harmful consequences. It involves changes in the brain's reward circuitry, leading to a loss of control over substance use. This can manifest as an inability to stop using a substance, even when the user recognizes that it's negatively impacting their life, their relationships, and their health. Moreover, it said, while often associated with drug and alcohol use, addiction can also manifest in behavioral forms, such as gambling, eating, gaming, internet consumption, shopping, sex, and other activities. And once I read that, it had me like, y'all, stay with me. Are these not all accepted addictions? Just like imagine having that not same label, but imagine having a warning, as prevalent, as huge, as obnoxious as that warning label on those nicotine packs, on things like our phones, on the food we consume, the shopping we overdo, the expectations that we have for ourselves and others. Imagine how many of us would overlook it, kind of like how I did with this just because I feel like this was all the makings of a good or P-dubs. How many of us would overlook it if that same warning was applied? So a lot of the things that are accepted addictions. Are you here for a good time or a long time? Welcome to Accepted Addictions with P-Dubs. Get ready to immerse yourself in a podcast that's open to people of all stripes and persuasions. Accepted Addictions is not just a podcast, it's a movement. We go over societal norms that are considered acceptable, but are often toxic to our growth, development, and even behavior. This is Accepted Addictions, where every version of you, every evolution of you, is not just embraced, but celebrated. So sit back, open your ears, grab a drink. I'll be sipping on my kombucha, and prepare for an engaging journey.
Why everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good? Everything they told me not to is exactly what I would. Man, I tried to stop, man, I tried the best I could, what's your addiction? I'm truly curious to know, what are some of your addictions? Or should I say accepted addictions from what I just mentioned? Honestly, this all got me thinking, let's play a game. A game I want to start this off with called Vice or Vibe. And some things I thought about right now, just based on accepted addictions, would be like, what would you consider a vice versus a vibe? Because to me, Let's actually differentiate what a vibe is and what a vice is, okay? So in this game, to me, a vice is something that's harmful, something that you have to avoid, or induces or in a way allows you to be avoidant. While a vibe is something that's healing, genuine, or even fun. And that's what the two differences are for me. And what I want to do is kind of give you guys a situation or a scenario to kind of differentiate or allow yourselves to really think about, is this a harmful thing for me? Or is this something that's healing for me? And let's do that by discerning whether it's a vice or a vibe, okay? So, do y'all feel being busy all the time is a vice or a vibe? Like, I know we're in this era or in this culture of hustle, this culture of, the early bird gets the worm first type thing, whatever, right? But is that a vice or a vibe? I don't want to say too much, but that's just an example. Let me think of something else. Let me know how y'all feel. How do you guys feel about... I wasn't even going to say it. I'm not even going to say what I was thinking. Shopping as therapy. Is that a vice or a vibe? Let me know what y'all think. I definitely don't want to say too much because this isn't what this episode is about. This episode is about me reacquainting you all and welcome you all to this new season of Accepted Addictions. In this new season, we have a whole new energy and whole new expectations. We will no longer be playing, music on the show, but we still have our playlist. Each episode still will come with a playlist right on Spotify. So you can always find that in every episode description. But to reacquaint you all and get you all more understanding of why I'm even doing this remastering is because in better words, I came across this Kalila tweet. This tweet about Kalila. If you guys don't know what Kalila is, it's this amazing, I would say neo soul or alternative R&B artist. She's amazing. I already said it, but whatever. And basically, in the same way Kalila reworks and expands her projects, I am applying that to the podcast in anything that I have made, any work of art, any project, anything that has come from P-Dubs. Okay. So the tweet said, Kalila is such a radical artist because of her ability to sit with the breadth and scope of her work. Her ability to make a project and rework it and then rework it and then rework it again should be a testament to all that the work is never complete and is deserving of reimagining. As artists, we should challenge ourselves to work like Kalila. Take time with our work to fully understand the possibilities it possesses. Deny capitalism's desire for something new and make folks truly understand what you're doing, what you're saying. And that's the end of the tweet. But that's exactly what I'm doing with this podcast, y'all. I'm revisiting past episodes, not to redo them, not to fix them, but to let y'all know that this work isn't just about what's next. It's about what's more to come, about what's more this can become, right? Like, I really had to sit and ask myself, am I letting my work breathe? Am I letting it grow? Am I allowing myself the space to even understand the possibilities of all that I'm creating? Or am I just making something to move on to the next thing? Because that's what we're taught, next, forward. But I really had to sit with myself and say, Spotify's messing with my music. Not Spotify, all the streaming services and stuff is messing with my music. It keeps taking down episodes and telling me I need to do this, do that. I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity and rework this all in my favor, remaster it all in my favor, right for y'all. So we're back with Accepted Addictions, new season, new things, new addictions, new people, new voices, new ears. Just expect new. But thank you. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to, give you guys more insight about, why I'm remastering and what to expect there. But the original first episode of this episode, the reason why we're remastering this episode originally was called Sex, right? For those of you, the OG listeners, you know that this episode was called Sex. America runs on sex. It was a play on Dunkin' Donuts, but the reason why, I created the episode was because it all began from me first having a breakthrough or a revelation in watching a stand-up comedy show. I was watching a stand-up comedy show called My Name is Monique, and it featured this amazing comedian, very known, honorable, notorious comedian, Monique. For those of you that don't know her, she's been on this movie called Fat Girl. She did Kings of Comedy. She was in The Parkers. Nikki Barker, okay? Monique is that girl. But she even, before this Netflix special, she tried to cancel Netflix by having us all try and cancel Netflix because she wasn't paid the same or even more as her white counterpart, which was not fair. But, obviously she got her coin, but that's neither here nor there. This episode is about Monique. It's about Monique's situation and how it made me look at myself. Because Monique was somebody that hid herself for years. And it wasn't until her fourth marriage that she finally decided to share with her person that she had this desire that kept creeping on her. She kept fighting this desire that was in her chest, this thing that kept every day scratching her. She kept saying, like, I really want to feel this. I really want to, experience this, but I can't. Something in me, the fear that I have from my trauma, from my childhood, of someone, actually accepting and doing this thing that I feel, was chastised, judged, and shamed. So, she spent her whole entire adulthood just trying to fuck it off, having sex with multiple people, doing all these multiple things to try and get rid of this feeling that was innate for her. For years of her life, she watched her grandmother, the person that was meant to be her guardian, bully and just be so mean to somebody that was her daughter, that transitions into being a stud or a woman that completely identified as a lesbian. And for her whole life, Monique watched her aunt be chastised and beat up. And even on her grandmother's deathbed, she still didn't acknowledge her aunt. She still treated her like she was nothing. So Monique carried that with her, her whole life. She always wanted to be with a woman. She always wanted to just experience and see what that was. But she carried that. If she ever did anything even closely similar to what her aunt did, she would be chastised. She would be made into a joke. And she would not get as much love as she received when she was a kid. And that was sad. That was honestly sad for me to even understand or consider for Monique, because what happened to her isn't unique at all. Yeah, drops mic. What happened to Monique isn't unique at all. I too wasn't given the time or the safety to explore sex thoroughly. And who's really to blame? It's this book I love. It's called Getting Off by Erica Garza. And it's this quote she has. It's called, I never gave my wait, what did she say? She said, I never gave myself permission to be an open, explorative, experimental, sexual person and just be okay with that. And I agree with her, because desire isn't the problem. It's the silence around desire. Like, imagine going decades feeling wrong for something that's human. Monique saw her aunt be a masculine woman that loved lesbian and loved other women, and she was put down and shamed, and saw her grandma just see her as nothing but garbage, and that sucked. Her grandma saw Monique as beautiful, unique, and perfect because she didn't expose her sexual preference. And to me, I think it just sucks. I think it's more than just sex here. I think what this really speaks to is women not having that safety. Monique didn't get this safety until her man. And I don't think many of us women have safety until or even able to see ourselves truly or have that mirror put in front of us until we get in a relationship. And that sucks. It's sad. I feel like women, I don't even know women, I'm just going to speak for Black women because that's who I am. Nobody gave us that space. Nobody let us explore. Nobody let us ask questions. Nobody let us feel safe in our bodies or our feelings. I don't know if that was Monique's experience, but to me, we're never really getting a space to just try and educate or explore who we are when it comes to our identities, right? And also, like, why does our sexual preference have to be on full display anyway? Why can't we just be with who we choose to be with, or explore it, or explore it with who we choose to do it with? Why does it have to be our entire identity? And if we do choose to make it our entire identity, so be it. But all this special really showed me and told me was that we need more safe spaces. I found my voice in community and knowing that I can be a voice and advocate for other women, because what I feel and what I go through isn't unique. It's just no one's talking about it. Monique found her voice in her relationship. Many women never do. Like, just imagine having a men's circle or a women's circle where we're met with love, compassion, maybe not full agreement, but definitely perspective. I might be biased and I might be biased, but it sounds like Monique definitely needed a homegirl. This episode isn't just about, surface level sex, but sex as a whole, including gender, including companionship, including friendship, platonic friendship. I feel Monique kept her desire buried for decades because she didn't have the right people to share it with. Not a therapist, not an audience, a friend. I feel like nothing is more powerful in this world than a friend. Someone who doesn't make you feel weird. Someone who doesn't shame you. Someone who just listens and is there for you. I think her current husband is the first person who gave her that, it just shows in the way that she even speaks about him, to the point that she calls him her dad. And it's funny to laugh at, but I get it, because she says she's been learning so much being with him. And similarly in friendships, when you have friendships that are earth-shattering, where you're getting to new levels and learning stuff about yourselves, where you're learning that this situation you've been through, this trauma you've been through, you're not alone on. I think that similarly is like having a relationship or a friendship where the right energy is expelled and it becomes more profound. You grow when you reach new highs. I've been thinking a lot about what real friendship even looks like. It's not even just a bunch of just liking each other's posts or commenting or sharing a feed. Is really being able to say, I don't have it for groceries this week, or I feel inadequate, or I fucked up, you know what I mean? Or I shouldn't have said that to him, or I shouldn't have said that to her, or, I was explosive. I regret that. A real friendship allows you to say, I regret that. A kind of friendship that takes vulnerability and trust, and most of us never got a chance to build that. I really do think true friendship involves investing, checking in, holding each other accountable. But if we never got that from our first relationships, whether it be our guardians, our parents, our siblings, of course we're going to be floating around here with as empty adults that are still yearning for that exploration, yearning for that safety. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that many of us are scarred, okay? Many of us have PTSD. When it comes down to it, many friendships, if you really think about it, some friendships in the past have scarred you because people aren't really right. Some people aren't good for you. I'm not going to lie, some people are bad. Many of us has PTSD when it comes to friendships. And right now, I'm only speaking for women, but naturally we can be catty. Sorry. Don't come for me. And y'all can like, comment, share, whatever, but we are naturally catty. Sorry. Like, for example, let me give y'all an example because I don't want to generalize. Let me get real with you guys. So it's this old show. I think it was in 2000. It was in early 2000s. But it started as a social experiment for only boys. And then it became for girls too. But their ages were from like 11 to 12 years old. And they had groups, 10 groups. They had groups. And it had like 10 boys and 10 girls. And they were left unsupervised in a big house for a week. Mind you, again, this is back in the early 2000s. And I believe it was done in the United Kingdom, like in the UK. And it was on those like those little network channels. But it was a social experiment kind of show, kind of like, you know, wife swap, how people do those kind of things. So imagine wife swap, but your kids are now in a house for 10 days, for a week without you, and you're watching it. So it was, y'all should really check it out. It was really interesting. It was really funny. But basically the point I'm trying to make is how quickly the girls started doing malicious and devious things to each other. You know, they started making each other jealous, pulling each other's hair, comparing, fighting, judging. While the boys, you know, they had their chaos too. But it was more so like destroying the home and having really terrible diets. So like as early as 11 and 12, you know, many of us already are little shit starters. Okay? Just imagine how that translates in adulthood. Like we're even more vicious. I really want you guys to go watch that. I'm probably going to leave, if you guys want, comment and let me know if you want me to leave the link so that you guys can watch it. But it's a really good watch. I do want to take a second and ask, what do y'all feel is some of your guilty pleasures? I just asked this because when I'm talking about that show and, you know, the girls being so malicious so early and so on and so forth, it made me think, what are some of those guilty pleasures or deviances that you guys do that, you know it's wrong. You know you shouldn't be doing it. But hey, we're here. It could be DMing somebody you already blocked. It could be checking that friend's page that you blocked just to see what they up to, keeping tabs. It could be falling in love after literally somebody just sent you a playlist. What is something that you're guilty of that you know damn well ain't good, but you love to do it anyway? I definitely want to hear what y'all think. Send in some of your answers. You can comment right on any streaming service, right on Instagram. You can DM us for it to be read on the next episode, or email us right at acceptedaddictions@gmail.com. But back to the topic. I really think being a good friend has nothing to do with gender. Truly. And this is coming from somebody that, you know, spent a lot of my life being a tomboy and running with the boys and climbing the trees and running through the streets. Being a good friend has nothing to do with gender. Women have been getting backstabbed since preschool. Shit. Women have been getting backstabbed since birth by their mothers. Think about those super male-centered girls. They probably never even had a conversation with their mom on simple shit like, how was your day? How was school like today? How do people treat you? Like, Mean Girls, the movie with Lindsay Lohan and all them in it, Regina George, that's real life. Like, that's real life. Like, I literally know somebody that uses a burn book instead of confronting people. Moral of the story is, we're all vicious, but we can't move in hurt. We have to move in caution. Yes, I've been hurt by many past relationships, but if I would have let that scar me, you know, I wouldn't have the great relationships that I have today. Like my best friend today, I can truly say is the sunshine in my life. Somebody that I can always count on and talk to anything and everything about. You know, I didn't learn sex from school, from church, or even really getting as much as I should have from my mother. when talking to her. I was talking to my and I was talking to my homegirls today, and it made me realize something. No, actually, my homegirl, she put something in my head. It was really cool and crazy to think about. She was talking to me, and she said she's done with men. She no longer wants relationships with them because of how great her relationships are with her own female friendships. She can't see herself settling or dealing with the nonsense that she deals with in her romantic relationship she's had with men. And she said that she always realizes how inadequate she is when she's out of that relationship. And that was so interesting to me because, it was big of her to even, have that revelation. But it was amazing for me to hear because so many of us, I don't know, let me take a second to kind of process what I'm trying to say. Because from when she said that, she realized that she feels inadequate every time she gets out of a relationship. She sees all the things that she needs to work on, all the things that she needs to get better at. And to me, when she said that to me, I was like, I feel like she would get the same energy. She would get that same understanding if she put just as much into her relationships, her friendships, as she does her romantic relationships. We're playing 21 questions with men all day, when those same 21 questions you should be asking your friends to see if you're just as compatible, to see if you, if this love is just as great as we say it is, right? It's like, it isn't until our friend is sad that we're now there for them. And that's not enough for me. I don't think so. She stated how I stated I feel that if she put that same amount of energy into her platonic relationships, she'll not only have better understanding of herself, but for all relationships, not just distinguishing whether it be romantic or platonic. Because it all has to do with you. I think it would still be the same outcome, but there would be more grace and love because that's what, friendships organically build. And honestly, what it comes down to is friends. Are we even really talking? We are, I believe, socialized not to talk. They say language is what made things really complex because before then, body language was enough. A look, a breath, a closeness. That's what we knew. And that was enough. You know what I mean? But then came words. And then words came rules. And then with rules came shame. And then suddenly everything has a fucking label. And everything has a right way to be done and right way to be said. And now nobody's saying nothing at all. It's like everyone's talking, but no one's really saying anything. And it's like, who will be the change and start the conversation around real friendships? Just the other day, another homegirl, love talking to my homegirls. She told me her and her man decided to stay together and work on things. And she said, I'm telling you this because everybody else just told me to leave him. And it hit me because that's what we're taught, cut him off, block him, run. But where's the conversation about how to stay? Where's the conversation about making this work? Where's the conversation about miscommunication? Where's the conversation about not seeing eye to eye and getting to the next level, next step? This not being a waste of time and maybe just us needing to take a second and breathe. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sex is always on my mind. And when I mean sex, I mean this and all the taboos surrounding it. We need to be more than just on the surface to each other. If understanding is what we seek, we won't find it by talking to ourselves. Maybe I'm just chatting, maybe I'm just saying shit. But do y'all see how this all connects to my point with Monique being, I wouldn't say she's bisexual, but with Monique's desire and telling her man, and the end resolution being she needed a friendship, a community to see her. One that she can rely on and depend on. And I ask us, I'm leaving you all with this, what are we building that actually changes how we live? how we love, and how we show up for each other. Hey, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I've just talked a lot to y'all, but I definitely want to end this podcast with telling y'all that this summer, we're off to a great start. Well, it's kind of the end of it, right? But there's been so much great music, and I definitely want to share with you guys, and I can't leave this episode without mentioning what's been replaying in my head so heavily. And it's that good Odile. Odile just dropped a new album. It's called The Summer That Saved Me. And that Miami song was actually what got me to record this morning. It really energized me enough to make me feel so good, feel so right. So definitely go check it out. I definitely think it's a really feel-good album. Odile is an amazing artist. This is an R&B summer. I've been saying, for those OG listeners, I've been saying this for a while, but this is an R&B summer. So definitely check out Odile if you want to feel like you're in love. Check out K1. She just dropped an album. It's KWN spelled. Great album. Sasha Keeble, one of my favorite artists in the world. She keeps dropping music. Hasn't dropped a project yet. But in due time, y'all, Read It and Weep, I will be doing Sasha Keeble's nails. And working alongside her. But anyway, Sasha Keeble, she just dropped that. She keeps dropping music, so pay attention to her. Leon Thomas, he is on that Odile album, and he's actually on that Miami song. Somebody to pay attention to right now when it comes to R&B as well. Kalani, she crept back in with this new song called Folded Up, so check it out. Isaiah Falls, enough said, check him out. He actually is opening with Sasha Keeble. He has been this summer, making me sick. It's crazy because I've been looking for, every day I keep checking for US tours for Sasha Keeble. Now I'm finally on the West Coast. She has a show in New York. I'm pissed. But anyway, we're going to meet. Another artist to pay attention to is The Artist. Amazing. And the S for artist is actually a money sign. Another artist is called Space Lover. Amazing, beautiful, sensual voice. Yeah, y'all, like if you're looking for R&B right now to make you feel good, please just reach out, let me know, because I got the playlist for y'all. But that Miami song, definitely check it out. It made me feel as good as the first time I heard the song Shadows by Childish Gambino. So for those of you listening that are familiar with Mr. Donald Glover, yeah, that means a lot. So thank you all for joining me today. To the lives we lead, to the moments we make, to the dreams we wish, and to the fucked up shit we can't erase. Cheers to us. Catch P-Dubs next time on Accepted Addictions. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and I'll see you all next week.
Welcome to Accepted Addictions with P-Dubs. Get ready to immerse yourself in a podcast that's open to people of all stripes and persuasions. Accepted Addictions is not just a podcast, it's a movement. We go over societal norms that are considered acceptable, but are often toxic to our growth, development, and even behavior. This is a platform where we explore the multifaceted identities within ourselves, recognizing that some versions have it all figured out, while others lean into that negativity. This is Accepted Addictions, where every version of you, every evolution of you, is not just embraced, but celebrated. So sit back, open your ears, grab a drink. You know I'll be sipping on my kombucha and prepare for an engaging journey.
Well, everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good. Everything they told me not to do is exactly what I would. Man, I tried to stop, man, I tried the best I could, but what your addiction is Accepted Addictions with P-Double.